Hello and welcome back to The Stage Door, presented by Camber Arts on Rogers TV, right here in the beautiful Bay of Islands, Newfoundland. It is such a privilege this week to get to talk about some of the things that Camber Arts is producing. You know, so often we are able to focus on what's going on in the community, but this week we have a really exciting festival that's already partially underway with some of the education and certainly underway in terms of rehearsal for our performers. And it's called Next Tide. It's bringing some emerging artists and young performers that have left Corner Brook and the area to pursue an education in music and bringing them home to share that with an audience right here. I'm with Lucas Upward, who's been a part of the early inception and planning of this, but is also our featured artist this year, with the concert actually happening on this evening. If you're watching it the first time it premieres, Thursday night. So, Lucas, welcome to the Stage Door. Thanks for coming.
It's great to be here.
So, Lucas, you know, with this show, we always like to start at the very beginning. So, of course, your musicianship has done you well so far, and it's not just directly in music, but also in cadets and programs that you've been able to travel for. So, where did that love of music all start?
I mean, I think at the very base level, it started with my family and growing up in a musical family. I mean, I have aunts, uncles who are musicians. My dad always played guitar at home, so it was something that I felt destined to be a part of. And they love to say that they're not musical, but it's not true. So, I mean, I felt like it was a kind of a destiny from the start. So, I mean, the rest of it really, everything in Corner Brook kind of helped me build that love of music. I mean, I took lessons at Gary Bennett Music for many years, and then later taught there. I had excellent music teachers going up through school. The band program here in the junior high and the high school, excellent elementary school music teachers, and then, you know, taking part in school musicals and band trips and teaching lessons later on. And then, of course, cadets as well was a huge, huge part of my musical development. So I joined Air Cadets when I was 13, and then I always wanted to be a pilot. That was my primary goal, but I ended up falling in love with the music side of it and going down that route, and I think that's ultimately what led me to where I am now.
Absolutely. I think so often, you know, getting to host this show is such a privilege because we hear many artistic journeys start the same way, you know, through the family home, and particularly in Newfoundland and Labrador, we have such a wealth of music that's not even recognized.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
Generational music playing, just, you know, not often sheet music readers, sometimes sheet music readers, but sometimes it's just there.
More often not sheet music readers, actually.
Exactly,
So,
you know, and these folks are composing. You know, they're sharing music. You know, you look at folks like Emile Benoit and Rufus Ginchard are some of the classic examples of those rural areas that people drove to and were like, this person's incredible. And every area in our province has somebody in that town, in that region that's like, oh, that's the music guy.
It's
you know?
really a deep, like a creativity. And I think that's what drew me in, was that, like, you know, the musicians in my family are not sheet music readers. They're like, you know, church musicians, Salvation Army. My parents grew up in Kings Point, out near Springdale.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, my mom's brother plays in the Salvation Army band, and that's, I mean, I always saw that growing up. And then dad playing guitar at home. Like, they're not classically trained musicians, but it's the creativity and the interest and the passion for it, right, that drives it more so than the formal training.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think too, you know, what else comes up is of course the teachers, you know.
Yes.
It is incredible, and it's important to me that our viewers understand that the teaching quality here in Corner Brook, in this small place of just over 20,000 people, it's pretty extraordinary.
It is. It's phenomenal. I mean, I tell people outside of Corner Brook about the things that we have here, and they're just shocked. It's like, you know, it's such a unique pocket of hard work and dedication, and I don't really like to say talent because it's definitely hard work, right?
Yeah.
It's dedication from teachers, from students, from families, from companies. Like, there are organizations in Corner Brook that have been so pivotal and influential in the development of young musicians, and then just a massive amount of dedication and high quality teaching.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something that needs to be celebrated,
Absolutely.
at all points of the year.
Yeah.
And we see now, music is happening for newcomers. We're uplifting new communities. There's, our Halapu has an Indigenous drum circle. It's a wonderful thing to see music have more place and meaning for multiple cultures here. I think that's a really wonderful thing that's changed really only in the past few years, that this is being seen more and more, and I think that's important too.
Absolutely.
And of course, it led you to pursue your studies still in the province of Newfoundland
Yes.
Labrador at MUN in St. John's. So what do you think, we often say so much about this place, be it Corner Brook, be it the whole province, that it is a special spot, but rarely do I ask what makes it special. So I think I'm going to start doing that, starting with you. What do you think makes this place and this province so special for artistic growth and nourishment? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think really it's like we talked about. It's the generational carry on of like knowledge and passion, right? And it's something that most young people experience from the very beginning. They experience that generational transmission of stories and songs and music, and that I think that's so important in developing the musical culture that we have here, because people grow up and they go on to study music. Even if they don't go on to study music, they always hold that with them, right? And especially for people who do study music, and who grew up in Newfoundland, it's always a part of their culture, and especially at the MUN School of Music, it's something that is talked about quite frequently. We have courses in folk singing and Newfoundland studies, and I mean, I find it so important that those exist and we tie them in with our curriculum, because the music culture here, the culture in general truly wouldn't be what it is without the deep-rooted musical influence. And I think a lot of Newfoundland's culture is based around music, and that's something else that makes it so special.
Yeah, there are so many incredible rooms to be in to hear music, and I think in many ways Newfoundland has done a great job of preserving that in some ways. If you look back historically, classical music was done in salons. It was in the home. People were welcomed into homes, and Newfoundland, just by its nature, Newfoundland Labrador has that. Yes, there are stages, which is a wonderful thing. It's great that we have the arts and culture centers across the province as one example. That's an amazing thing that we have. That very few places do have something like that, but also other venues. We're fortunate to have a few in Corner Brook, but included in that are some of these intimate spaces that kind of go back to the roots of this, and the roots of it still are a kitchen party, that you have all the time. That doesn't take long before an instrument gets brought out, and I think that's a wonderful thing about this place. So I think that is a great way of looking at how it affects things. And of course, you have recognized education as a big part of that. It's also something that you had an interest in, and something that you, as a student, pursued. You went into start teaching while you were still in high school, while you were still learning. So what was that? What drew you to that, to want to pass along some of these skills?
So I feel that, like, as someone who has been so benefited by the fabulous teachers that I've had, I feel the need to give back and continue the cycle. And something that really drove the passion to continue the cycle was being in the Architect program, because I see these people come in who are so passionate about wanting to learn, and they just, they want to do it. They just need the guidance. So as I progressed and was somebody who could give the guidance, I really found a passion for doing that. And I spent a summer in Vernon, British Columbia, working with the program, where I was teaching all summer and working with bands, working with people from all across Canada. And I found even then I had like the influence from home. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that really shaped my journey. And I find that teaching makes me a better musician as well. It really helps me focus in on the technique and the intricacies of the instruments that you often don't explore until you're trying to explain them to somebody else. So doing that in high school was a really eye-opening thing for me. It really made me realize what I wanted to do with my life. And I say now, many people ask me now that I'm in university, so what do you want to do with your life? And I always say that I don't really know, but I know that part of it has to be educating. I feel like at my core, I'm an educator, and I've said that to many, many people, and it holds true still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it's certainly part of the next tide was including some education opportunities for students here to recognize, it's not just people who are completed their program, it's people who were not too long ago their peers that are able to offer some skills and see that growth and feel that connection.
Absolutely.
So before we dive in a little more to, your time at MUN and then of course the upcoming events, what would you say is the advantage and benefit and purpose of music being so integrated into a cadet program? It's part of military culture, and how did it get that way? What do you see as the benefit of that?
It is, yeah. I mean, and since I've left the cadet program, I mean, you can only stay until you're 19, but I'm an officer with the Canadian Armed Forces now, so I'm directly giving back as a support member. And working in that capacity. So there are also career opportunities for me in the future in the forces if that's something that I wanted to avail of. But music and military they're like this. I mean, music was used as a morale boost, like back in the battlefield essentially, right?
Yeah.
So it carried on as sort of the morale booster, and now is so integrated into parades and spectacle, more like spectacle events, right? And it's still seen as that, like, camaraderie, and the musicians working together, the troops working off of the musicians, and I mean, relating that to cadets specifically, it's totally a morale booster. You have young people who are looking to find their place, right? And I mean, being a teenager is one of the hardest times to find your place.
Yeah.
So, finding a place in band, finding a place in whatever people choose to do. Band is always an area where there's camaraderie, there's teamwork, and you have to be so worldly minded almost. You can't be selfish. You have to think about the people around you. You have to think about what's going to happen based on the effort that I put in. So it's less about me, more about the whole picture, and I think that's really important in being a part of a cadet band or a school band or being a part of any musical ensemble, is thinking about the bigger picture and taking it away from self.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really beautiful way of looking at it, especially as someone who's still studying. You're studying in St. John's at the MUN Music Program, which is a fantastic program right here in Newfoundland, Labrador, that caters to students not only from here, many students are from here, but many are from away as well. And you're studying under Dr. Christine Carter, who is an incredible music teacher, actually was the adjudicator for our music festival here in Corner Brook this year, and also a longtime collaborator with Camber Arts, a member of Dark by Five Ensemble. So it's wonderful that Christine, worked with us and now calls Newfoundland Labrador home. And I know her studio operates very familially, that you're really a team in that studio. So what has that been like to get to work with someone as prestigious as Christine, but also be, on level? You're going for family dinner sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, Christine Carter has really been so influential in my journey. Even from when I was in high school, we had many online lessons and discussions, and I mean, the first time I met her she was doing a concert here with the Iris Trio. And she's just, first and foremost, a brilliant musician, brilliant clarinetist, and that's what I saw. I'm like, I need to learn from her. But getting deeper in, I realized that she is deeply committed to the family aspect of it. I mean, we have, between 8 and 12 people in our studio, depending on the year, and it's just like a big family. We eat dinner together, we spend time together, we spend time with Christine's kids, and we babysit her kids, and it's like it's a big group. We all trust each other. We lift each other up. We help each other grow and learn. And that's something that's so important to me and something that I don't think I'd find anywhere else. I mean, a lot of music schools are very heavy on competition. And music school in general is a competitive environment. Music outside of music school is a competitive environment. So it's nice. I mean, even within that family, of course, there's some healthy competition.
Oh, yes.
But it's nice to have that. At the base of it, it's a group effort, right? And we work together to achieve a common goal. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. So, there's some pretty big events coming up now with Next Tide. May 7th, of course, is your show.
Yes.
No Place Like Home.
Yes.
May 8th, we're at the Cornerbrook United Church with a choral concert, All Things Bright and Beautiful. That's the host choir is the Camber Arts Chorale, but in addition, we have the Cornerbrook Intermediate Choir taking part in that, which is so exciting, and they were able to do a workshop with our choral director, Michael Barrett, and they're accompanied by Jennifer Billard, and of course directed by Alison Clark, who's very involved in this whole thing too. And then on Saturday, May 9th, we have What I'd Give to Return, which is a celebration of a number of different young artists. Katie Colburn and Sophie Sims doing some vocals, Matt Birmingham and Mary Jane Jacobs on woodwind and brass. And actually Matt is premiering some composition work as well,
Yes.
which is so exciting. It's going to be a wonderful series, and I will say there's a pass for the two shows on Thursday and Saturday. Because they're in our intimate venue at 110 Humber Road, we weren't able to do a pass for all three because the audience capacity is very different at Cornerbrook United. But the show at Cornerbrook United has a pay-what-you-choose option, so really consider going if you're looking for something to do between May 7th to 9th. Those are some great options. What can people expect to see on May 7th with No Place Like Home, with your concert with the fabulous Alison Clark,
Yeah.
collaborative pianist?
Yeah, so tonight I have a really fun program put together of really, we say solo clarinet music, but it's chamber music. Alison and I have been working very hard. Some of the piano parts are ridiculous. I probably threw at her some of the hardest piano parts in the clarinet
There's more
repertoire.
ink than page,
Oh,
if you can visualize it.
there
Very
is
little
more
white
ink.
on the page. It's a lot of notes.
Yeah, so she's been working very, very hard, and I appreciate her very much. We have, there's some jazz-inspired repertoire, some a little more contemporary repertoire, and then some romantic and classical repertoire, Brahms, Weber, and then some more contemporary repertoire from Paquito de Rivera, Joseph Horowitz. So I mean, there are some, it's kind of a wide facet of repertoire, and a large number of influences in that repertoire. Things that were important to me when I was studying here, things that are important to me from St. John's. It's really a culmination of repertoire I've played before, new repertoire, and of course things that are just special to me from both places. And I'm really excited to be able to share that with the people in Cornerbrook. I mean, something about studying away, and maybe less so for me in St. John's, but especially people who are studying, say, in Ontario or Nova Scotia, we don't often get to share our work with the people who raised us, right? With the people who taught us, with our parents, with our family. So that's what I'm most excited about tonight, is to share my work and my love for playing the clarinet and music in general with, my teachers, Karen Michael, my family, and my friends in Cornerbrook who don't get to see that often.
Yeah, no, it's certainly very exciting to have this, and of course homecoming is the theme of these shows, and I think it often will be. You have also, since being home, you worked a little bit with the Cornerbrook Regional High band with some sectional work, and they're about to head off to nationals.
Yes, tomorrow morning.
Which is a very exciting thing at Niagara Falls. And of course, there's plans to work with the Cornerbrook Intermediate Band through Next Tide to be able to guide their beginner band to some new levels. So, not only are you presenting some really intricate solo clarinet work, solo, again in quotations, with your very collaborative pianist in these pieces. And you know, I think it's such a wonderful thing that, you know, you're sharing it with your peers too, you know,
Yeah.
that Katie and Sophie and Mary Jane and Matt will hopefully be able to be there. Of course, I guess Matt is in your the same studio as you in
Yes,
St. John.
yes, we are studio mates.
And was a student of yours.
Yes.
You know, Matt started their journey a little bit into their high school years
Yeah.
when they really decided to pursue this. And now your peers and their composing work, it's an exciting thing.
That's been a really it's been an interesting thing to experience
course,
for me,
yeah.
right? And it's a story that I love to tell as well. I mean, when we both went to St. John's and Matt started performing in the studio, my comments were always like, "I was your first teacher," and to see this growth is fabulous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a really full circle moment for me. Is to be,
course.
you know, Matt took lessons from me when I was teaching at Camber Arts.
Yeah.
And now Matt is performing in a recital at Camber Arts, and I will be in the audience watching.
Yeah.
So that's really, really special to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
Yep.
it's certainly a very exciting thing to share all of those different moments and folks from different places too. You know, we have a lot of different things represented as well. Of course, I should note too, our No Place Like Home, as Lucas described, lots of different composition and different styles in that show. All Things Bright and Beautiful has everything from a tremendous arrangement of Some Nights by Fun to more traditional pieces like Scarborough Fair and She's Like the Swallow. You know, it's to, of course, John Rutter with All Things Bright and Beautiful. There's a real wealth of music to explore and see in that. And then What I'd Give to Return goes all the way from some classical repertoire for brass, woodwind, and voice into some contemporary repertoire and jazz and musical theater. So it really does, it'll capture something fairly unique in terms of how people can spread their wings. And this is a festival that Camber Arts is hoping to continue next Tide. And that really relies in part on the audience. You know, we are very fortunate to have some wonderful partners in our presentation work. But people showing up helps. So I hope it's perked your interest. That's May 7th, 8th, and 9th, 3 events, part of the Next Tide Festival. Tickets are available online or drop by at the door. The May 7th and 9th show are at 110 Humber Road, just behind Immaculate Heart of Mary School. And Friday's show, May 8th, is at Cornerbrook United. In addition, there's a lot going on in the community that I'll take a moment to highlight. May 8th also is marking Open Door Theater's Sketchy Teenagers. So if choral music isn't your thing and sketch comedy is, that's a good opportunity to go to that. There's also May 9th, Connor Cash Elliott is doing a Night of Soul. So, you know, if you want a more contained variety, that could be an option. That's at the Rotary Arts Center. Another musician who's coming home on May 14th, Kevin Hamilton with his son Noah Hamilton doing a show at the Rotary Arts Center. That's going to be a really great show. Mallory Johnson's at the Rack May 27th. Silver Wolf Band at the Rotary Arts Center May 29th. And then Tom Power in conversation with Glasses and Girl, Phil Churchill and Geraldine Hollett, May 30th. So the Rotary Arts Center's got a pretty busy May and some really cool events. And of course, the Arts and Culture Center, we are moving into the Arts and Culture Center with our Graham Academy programming. We have a double bill of 101 Dalmatians and Bye Bye Birdie. That's May 29th and 30th. And then we have our senior company doing Chicago. And that is June 4th through 6th. So lots happening. As we know, you know, spring, the snow is melting and the arts are coming back in full form. And of course, the Dance Hub is doing their show in June as well. So there's lots to see at the Arts and Culture Center, the Rotary Arts Center, and from us at Camber Arts. We hope to see you at Next Tide. I do want to take a moment to thank our gold level sponsor, Harbor Financial, for helping make everything that we do possible in the community. And I hope to see you this evening, May 7th, at No Place Like Home. And thanks for coming on to the stage door, Lucas.
Thank you.
Really appreciate having you. And thanks to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week back here at the stage door.